Well, welcome to another episode of Simply Be, Simply Me with Nakeisha. I hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes you have seen so far. It's raw, behind the scenes, and authentic of when I stumble over my words, when I feel nervous, afraid, where it seems like I'm rambling because this is all new to me. I told you guys in the beginning, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know why I'm doing it. So, as I move forward throughout the day, I realize that I feel in the current moment, I feel grateful. I always feel grateful, but in this very moment, I feel extremely grateful because I am taking a look back at my life and where I am today, despite any ups and downs that I may have in my life, which we all have in our lives, no matter where you come from, no matter how much money you have, we all have peaks and valleys in life. I am grateful because when I look back and I think about who Nakeisha was as a kid versus who Nakeisha is now, it's just amazing to truly see what God has done in my life and the blessings. Um, so, with that being said, I'm going to share some things about who Nakeisha is. And some of the things I will elaborate more in other episodes. But Nakeisha is a woman who was, I'm going to say, born in Brooklyn. But the reason why I hesitate, because originally I always thought I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but I actually was born in Manhattan, New York City. And for those of you who know New York, you understand that Brooklyn and Manhattan is totally two different places. And the reason why I say I thought I was born in Brooklyn, New York, is because that's what my birth certificate always said. To my knowledge, from when I was a kid, I would always see that. But I ended up finding out when I just turned 20 years old. It was days before I was 20. I ended up finding out that I was adopted. So that's why I say I thought I was born in Brooklyn, but I ended up finding out after doing some research about being adopted that I was actually born in Manhattan. So finding out that I was adopted and actually born in Manhattan was something that was a little tough for me to fully confirm. And when I say fully confirm, I say that because there was elements of my life growing up that I knew something wasn't right, and I knew that I felt like this doesn't feel like a nurturing environment. This doesn't feel like what you would get from a mother to a child and the spaces that I was in. And not to say anything negative about my mom who adopted me, because being adopted, I think, is a great thing. When you have that in your heart to adopt people, that's a great thing. So I'm not dismissing anything or saying anything negative about her, but finding that out at 20, while also growing up feeling like the environment that I'm in, this doesn't feel nurturing and something feels off. So even though I was shocked at 20 to find out, it was also a confirmation for me that it made sense why I didn't feel like I belonged in the environment that I was in growing up. In addition to me being adopted, I have three children and I am married. I think most of you know that already. Um, I truly enjoy helping others and pouring into others. I truly enjoy leading people, but leading people to their greatness. Not leading people in a sense because I want to be in charge, because that's not the case at all. I like to show people the best versions of themselves that sometimes they don't see for themselves. Um, Nakeisha is someone who um, I love hard. And what I mean by that is my husband and I have been together, I think this year will be 26 years, which is a long time. I don't know if I just aged myself. Um, I also, my favorite color is blue, but it possibly may be this green that I have on right now because I'm liking this green that I have on right now. My favorite number is 7. Some of these things I shared with you guys before, and I love being a mom. That is definitely one of the titles that I truly, truly love and something that I'm proud of. And I don't always get it right. Sometimes I do suffer from mom guilt, even though my children are older. I still have moments of feeling guilty for certain things. But I realized I love being a mom so much because I knew there was things that I needed when I was younger from a nurturing perspective that I wanted to make sure my kids had as a mom. And my children, they mean the world to me, and I know that I mean the world to them just as much as their dad. But I know that I was going to make sure my children knew that I loved them. And I was going to make sure that my children, to the best of my ability, knew that they were great and knew that they could achieve and accomplish anything that they wanted in their lives. It doesn't mean that just because I instilled those things into them, that their life is perfect every single day. But those are the things that I wanted to make sure that my children experienced from me. So that's some of who is Nakeisha. So that's just some of who Nakeisha is. I have more elements and layers of me that I will share in some of my other episodes. But this one, I want to stay on the topic of, even though I was adopted and I later found out that I was actually born in Manhattan, I as all I knew was Brooklyn. So to me, I am born in Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn and I lived in Brooklyn for a very long time. I realized recently, last year, August, my daughter had a dance convention and we had to go to New York. And when we went to New York, we decided to also visit Brooklyn. And I haven't been to Brooklyn in some years. But some of the areas that we went to were areas of my childhood and where I went to maybe high school. And I didn't realize going back there was such a surreal moment and feeling for me because it made me realize in that moment where God has really brought me from. But I was also thankful for my past. I was thankful to see the bus stops in front of the corner store with the graffiti on it. It, for some strange reason, it made me happy. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ever would walk this neighborhood. I appreciated the train stops. I appreciated passing the apartment buildings that I used to live in. It was just a surreal moment experiencing all of those things again and seeing all of those places again. I had an appreciation for them because there's elements of my life growing up that was not the greatest. It was not fun. It wasn't pleasant, but there's elements that I still can say I enjoyed. I had a great time at certain points in high school with my friends. I had so many great stories riding the trains with my friends. I have great high school stories and memories and my prom and what my prom dress looked like. So I had so many great moments in Brooklyn that it was great to go back. And then when I reflect in my current moment in life, just to see those spaces and to see where God has brought me, I technically should be a statistic, as far as, I don't know who comes up with, if you're born in a certain area, you have a certain education level. And I don't mean for myself because I do have a college degree, but where I was raised, it was already pre condition that I wouldn't be successful in life because that's just the way society thinks about certain people and certain areas where you live in. Because not only did I live in Brooklyn, but I moved from Bed-Stuy to Brownsville. And if you know Brooklyn, you know Brownsville is a tough area um, to be raised in, especially to have children there. It wasn't the safest space. So I'm grateful that God just continued to cover me in all of those moments and all of those areas in life. And to see where I am today, it is empowering for me to again showcase my life, my story, my journey, to let others know, people from Brownsville, Brooklyn, people from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, people from certain parts of life where it may seem tough. It may seem like, hey, I'm not going to be able to move out of these areas that are tough. I'm not going to be able to make it, and I'm not going to make something of myself. I am a prime example. You are looking at someone who was a broken little girl that God just did not take his hands off of. And because he didn't take his hands off of me, I am where I am today. And I'm grateful. And I don't want to get emotional because I have on makeup today and I don't want to mess up my makeup. But yeah, I was a broken little girl because, again, I didn't have, and not to speak negatively about anyone, I didn't have the nurture that I should have had as a young girl. But in reality, the people who raised me just did the best that they could because they came from broken, maybe homes or backgrounds, or they were broken themselves. And I find that when broken people tend to have children or start families without repairing themselves first, they end up just repeating those same cycles. So that's why I constantly can say, although I know my past was terrible, I can say I don't have anything negative to say about the people in my past because they just did the best that they could. Um, but it doesn't take away from those moments of me being a broken little girl. But I feel and know that God had his hands on me because I didn't stay a broken little girl. And I believe that your past doesn't define your future. Um, God already knows what your future holds, but you also have to work at defining your future. You don't have to stay in your past. You don't have to stay stuck. You can grow, put in the work, definitely pray, uh, speak to people. And then when you get to the other side of it, uh, be a blessing to others and show them what life on the other side of the toughness looks like. So hopefully I didn't get too emotional and too sappy for you guys. Because trust me, the tears are right there, but I'm trying to hold them back because, like I said, I don't want to mess up my makeup. But yeah. So I took a little break, just in the current moments because, like I said earlier, I was feeling a little emotional and I didn't want to cry because I have my makeup done today. But during the break, the people behind the scenes, someone said they had a question for me. So I'm actually going to take this question, and this is going to be part of my Q&A because it's a question that I wasn't expecting. Um, the person behind the scenes wanted to know, what would I tell little Nakeisha? And I wanted to know from them what sparked them to ask that question. And their response was, just hearing you say you were a broken little girl, then what I want to know, what would you tell Nakeisha now? And I would tell her that she is amazing and she is loved. Um, I would tell her that it's not as bad as it seems, and you are going to be okay. You will get through. Um, you will get through everything. um, because God got you. Um, he's not going to leave you. It may feel that way. Um, you may not understand um, why you went through the things you went through when you were younger, but you will understand it when you get older. Because even though I cry now, all of those things, I don't regret it because it has shaped me into the woman that I am today. I have a compassion for people beyond human comprehension. I see people more. Um, I understand people more. And I have grace for people more than the average person because you never know what their life was like in the past. And I am one of a few people that I know that I was able to fully heal from my past and able to fully forgive the people that I know just did the best that they could despite their circumstances. But not everyone gets to the other side of healing. And I would just tell her, you are going to be an amazing woman, an amazing mother, an amazing wife. And you actually are going to impact people's lives, even though you don't know that that's what God called you to do and that's part of your purpose. But what you are going through now is for a greater purpose. And you are going to inspire and uplift people more than you know. So that's what I would tell little Nakeisha. And to the person who asked this question behind the scenes and made me cry, I'm gonna get you. Because I don't know what my makeup looks like now. And if you know me, you know I say I don't do emotions on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or Sunday. So the fact that this person presented me with this question and now it made me emotional, it is what it is. So that's it. That's all I have. I hope you guys truly enjoyed this episode. I am going to have another part of this episode. And the part of this episode that I'm going to elaborate more on is going to be about the adoption. And the reason why I'm choosing to do that is because there's three levels of being adopted. You have the child, myself, who was adopted, and then the aftermath of when you find out you're adopted and what that entails and what that looks like. And then you have the adoptive parents um who adopted the child, but then you have the other component of the parents who gave their children up for adoption or reasons beyond their control, their children had to be placed in the system. I think it's an important conversation to have. And when I do share that episode, it's going to be with individuals from each stage that I just explained. So stay tuned to see when that episode is going to air. So that's it. That's all I have. So like, subscribe, and watch this episode and all future episodes on all streaming channels. And don't forget to send in your questions to SBSM at simplyme.com. And that's it. Remember to be a blessing to others.